Oh, what was your dream?
Like, so like I don't remember most of my dream, but like right at the end of, being asleep, I half woke up, but it was really bizarre because I didn't wake up in my bed. I woke up in my bed in Ohio. But like everything about my room was exactly the way I remember it. And like I woke up and I was convinced, like I knew that I was still asleep. Or like I knew I was half asleep. And in my head, I decided that how it worked was if I went back to sleep in the dream, I would
Wake
be
up.
stuck in Ohio
Oh,
forever.
never mind.
But if
Okay.
I convinced myself to wake up like while I was still awake in Ohio, I would wake up in my actual bed. So I had this like really weird disconnect of like, even though I was tired, I couldn't go back to sleep because it was like the middle of the night. I was like, I can't go back to sleep because I don't want to stay in Ohio. I have to wake myself up somehow. And it was super bizarre because like I was super paranoid about the fact that like I was gonna be stuck in Ohio for forever.
Sounds like a very bad nightmare. But anyways, now we're back, and we're gonna talk about the ending of Doctor Stone, the ending of. Oh my god, I don't even remember them anymore.
Doctor Stone, fuck, it's not Kimetsu no Yaiba.
It's Cautious
Uh,
Hero, Orisuki,
Cautious Hero, Orisuke,
and
not Babylon because it's not out yet.
not Babylon because that hasn't ended yet. Iruku's still going, but I stopped watching that because I just kind of dropped the ball on it. But basically, those two shows: Doctor Stone, Cautious Hero, and Orisuki.
Yeah,
Um, two of which actually had one of which kind of ended. The other two just kind of had a TBD tacked on
yeah,
to the end.
pretty
All of
much.
them kind of did though, but the Cautious Hero is the only one that actually came close to ending on an ending note.
Yeah, Cautious Hero ended. Doctor Stone we knew was going to continue because you know, there's more source material and everybody sort of expected it to just sort of fill in like the competition for like long running shonen series.
Yes, Orisuki
Um,
just I don't.
Orisuke was a fucking disappointment. Holy shit, am I upset with that?
All right, let's talk about the disappointment last then.
Fucking salty nuts about that ending.
With Doctor Stone, we were wrong about our prediction. We thought it was going to go into the war arc, but we ended it
Hmm.
right before because I assume if I remember correctly, they did say it was going to be 26 episodes, and then on 24 once they found out that they're going to have a second season. So
Yeah.
they have more time and probably better resources next time to actually keep the arc going rather than
Uh-huh.
just fit it in like to the last two episodes. So that'll be that. All we know so far is that we've created the cell phone. Senku's broed out with everyone,
Hmm.
and we listened to the dad bang the stepmom. Uh, we
I
actually
mean, you're not ostensibly wrong.
we actually listened to the dad on a glass vinyl record, basically
Basically.
record, not vinyl, because that vinyl's the actual material. That's not vinyl. And we'll return with the other two at some point. Uh, the girl with the weird headband, and then the other guy, 8-Man, but not 8-Man.
Yeah. It is interesting as I think about it. Like the fact that you mentioned the vinyl thing made me think about it. I wonder if Senku had to like guess at what RPM to actually and like figuring out how to record it at the right RPM also had to be fucking hard.
I'm pretty sure they just
It's
kind of
like an
glossed
interesting
over.
level of. Yeah, they definitely
Yeah,
did. The author was definitely like, I'm not going to cover this at all. But like in how records work, which is my
yeah,
very loose understanding of how records work, like gramophones or record players can run at like three different
yes.
RPMs depending on what type of record you're playing for
Hmm.
vinyls, LPs, and I forget what the last type is
I
called, but
think it's
basically
like
long forms.
the ones that you can record on your own or shit
Yeah,
like that. I think.
I believe so. But yeah, there's like three different settings for RPM. So like how fast it spins is sort of important. And so like they sort of just had Ginro just crank the wheel and like the thing spun and they just played it off of that. Like there's no way
Yeah,
realistically he would have spun it at the right speed the first time around.
this is true. Um, they just kind of they definitely kind of just glossed over it and kind of chunked that part out. We could have
Yeah.
seen like little scenes where they're like spinning it at different speeds to get the right actual speed. It
Uh-huh.
also is harder because it's not like an actual form factor that someone would recognize. Like it's just a bottle. It's the bottom of a bottle.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it would have been interesting, like the way that Senku figured out, oh, is this a B when they're looking at a speaker, and they figure out like the speaker B and the fact that his dad recorded a record based on that whole story that they passed down. It would have been interesting if that story had also recorded something about like the vinyl fairy, so they knew how fast to spin it or something. Like there could have been like a little thing tacked on there to like tell you about like what RPM to run it at.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know how else they would have like, because nobody wants to see Senku just do like, all right, we're gonna do a whole bunch of random testing at different RPMs to figure this shit out.
Right. That's why you take that part out. Like, it's interesting to think about, but realistically, it's not really necessary to actually see that part.
Yeah. So like, other than tacking on something into the stories passed down through the years, I don't know how else they would have done it. But it is from like a physical perspective, one of those important details that we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because like there's a couple of things. Like a lot of the chemistry is glossed over, but like a lot of the chemistry is boring. So I can understand they gloss over it. But like they get a lot of the major details right for like how things work. And like I remember way back when we started this, there was something I brought up as like, oh yeah, like they're dealing with, I think it was like the production of ammonia through the Haber-Bosch process, and I was like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. And we talked about that for a little bit, and like a couple episodes later, like he mentioned the better way to do it in the Haber-Bosch process, and I was like, they're actually paying attention to shit. Like usually they get a lot of the details in this show, like a lot of the physical details, pretty close to correct, or at least correct enough that like I don't have major complaints. This is like one of the first times that I've ever been paying attention enough to actually notice something.
Right. It reminds me of The Martian that came out a couple years ago, the book and the movie. It's a very hard science fiction story where like the only thing that's kind of glossed over, kind of made up, is the fact that winds strong enough to basically tip over a rocket on Mars aren't really possible just because there's such a low density of air there. So the force required would be like astronomical versus what it is here.
Interesting.
He even talks about that in like some commentary he did, or an interview. But everything else is fairly like he tried to stay very grounded, like all the way to our main character. I forgot his name, but Mark Wahlberg. It's Matt Damon. Basically, is growing potatoes by shitting on them for most of the movie.
Swag.
Because he needs some fucking fertilizer.
Right, yeah.
Because that fucking Martian dirt sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. And Dr. Stone is similar in that way. It does stay very grounded. It knows when to talk about the science and when to just kind of gloss over it in good detail. It's got that intuition where it doesn't like it doesn't make stuff up to explain something. If it can't explain it, it'll just kind of gloss over it in sort of like a summary way, which I'm usually okay with. Like, I really don't give a shit if you're 100% right. But if you're making stuff up and I know you are, that's when it just gets kind of annoying.
Yeah. It's an interesting balance. It's an interesting balance that they strike because, like, the creation of it must be kind of difficult.
You definitely have to do a lot of research.
Yeah, you have to do a lot of research, and, like, you have to have an editor who understands how to create a narrative that still works with the real world. In terms of, like, explaining enough of how the thing actually works so that it's not just believable but correct, but doesn't get so bogged down in the details that it becomes boring. It's an interesting balance, and they do it really well, but I could see that it would be very easy to fail at it.
Right. And there's been like bigger projects that have done something similar and failed at it because like it wasn't believable, the stuff that they made up, because it just was so dumb.
See all of Killing Bites.
Well, Killing Bites at least is just dumb for dumb's sake. Like, they didn't try to like. It's one of those. I wouldn't say it's similar to Dr. Stone, because Dr. Stone, like, that's one of the things the author kind of likes to talk about is, the science behind stuff. But Killing Bites was just, let's just make some random bullshit up. No one gives a shit.
See, but Killing Bites was so bad about the science, it was at least upsetting to me.
Okay.
Like, Killing Bites they were, like, ignoring a lot of, like, stuff. Like, they could have not mentioned a lot of things. It's like when people talk about
evolution, they never get it right.
Yeah. Like, it was so upsetting what he was talking about and how poorly he was talking about it. Like, even the stuff they tried to explain with, like, genetic modification was just wrong. Like, it wasn't even close to being actually correct with how genetic modification works.
It's definitely a concept that would have been better if they just kind of didn't try to make stuff up, or made stuff up that was just so wildly out of whack that it made it more believable. Yeah. Like, if there's this drug that just does shit, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what we said when we were watching it was like you just have to commit 100% to don't explain anything.
Right? Yeah. Just
Just be like we
don't
did some
explain it,
science
or just
shit
make
and
it
now
very
people are
obvious
half
that it's
animal.
fake.
Yeah. Like just say there was some science shit that happened and now people are half animal. That's all I need to know. Like I can just make up, pretend animal shit happened in a lab somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, I'm done. Don't tell me genetic modification and then be wrong about it. We modified one strand of DNA and your whole body changed.
I
Okay,
guess
cool.
that's where maybe they were trying to make something just something completely up, but like for a layperson who didn't study like sciences as much as you did, probably would have
Mhm.
just kind of accepted it as like, oh, this is just dumb technobabble. But because you
Right.
know the science behind it, it made it worse for you.
I think so. But it's at least in terms of like recency that I can remember, it's one of those examples of like something that took a stab at it. Granted in like very narrow context of like the genetic modification stuff and a few other moments. It took a stab at like the science and kind of just came up with nothing but air.
Mm-hmm.
So like Dr. Stone has a lot more that it could fail at, and yet it does a really good job of staying on top of it. I think another one, it's less like it's less a science thing and more just like an explanation thing that we can talk about is Shokugeki, which
Oh, behind like the
has
science of cooking and stuff.
yeah, like the science of cooking and like the way dishes are created and stuff. Like early on, before even the most recent episodes of the anime, it was like everybody really loved it. It was really cool, and like a lot of the cooking was actually possible.
Right, like
And
if I
like
remember right,
as
the gastronomy stuff that Erica, the white-haired
uh
girl,
yeah, I know
like
who you're
this,
talking about. I don't remember
like
what her name is.
the stuff she does, like I think in the fourth episode, the use of the honey to tenderize the meat,
Hmm.
like that's real. Like how to cook monkfish and how you have to like strike the perfect sort of heat or something. I don't really remember, but yeah,
Hmm.
there was a lot of that stuff where he was explaining how to do cooking well and using actual real world info
Uh-huh.
to back it up.
Yeah. And then as time went on, the author sort of just lost the passion for it, or the editor just didn't care as much, and they just wanted it to get more like shonen-y. And then, it ended up with the most recent or the last arc that there was with the fucking dark chefs, and I'm gonna use a chainsaw to cut meat, and it'll somehow turn out better than a knife. Like it just sort of went off the deep end and just didn't give a shit, and people just did not like it at the end. They just wanted it to end.
And so it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a science thing, but it is one of those like it started out as an explanation thing that was correct and people loved it for it, but as it stopped caring and it just sort of went crazy with it, people really sort of turned on Shokugeki. So, I think in terms of like talking about the balance of explanation, that's a good example of how being right can be so hard that giving up can, have your
Can
views
basically
or your
sink your story.
exactly, yeah.
But that has not
Um,
happened to Doctor Stone yet. I don't know if it's. I feel like it's still popular. At least the manga is. So hopefully it doesn't get into that rut, that pit. Because I've been
I
enjoying
haven't
it so
seen a
far.
huge amount talking about it,
Okay.
but to be fair, I don't really follow a whole bunch of manga like closely in the conversations about them, so I have no idea if it's still popular or not. Um, but yeah, we're going into maybe a war. We still have to go give fucking what's his name the cell
We
phone.
still have to make the second cell phone.
We still have to make the second cell phone, which we're probably gonna
That shit's a
gloss
fucking
over.
radio. It's a radio.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a fucking
It's
it's a walkie-talkie
yeah.
basically.
I don't know. They keep calling it a smartphone. It's a goddamn fucking radio. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's my one gripe the entire show. It's a radio, not a phone.
Yeah, it's basically a advanced fucking two cans with a string in the middle is what it is.
It was basically just two cans in the middle. The way they had a show at this the last
They did,
episode.
yeah.
It's just a very high concept two cans in the radio.
I think that was just the proof of concept thing with the I can talk in one end and you can hear it in the other.
Yeah,
So I'm sure like actually it will just be a radio where we just radio waves each other information, but yeah, that shit is fucking a radio.
I wonder when people are gonna start thinking that radio gives you cancer in that show.
Almost immediately. Did you not remember all of Taiju's bullshit? He fucking thinks everything science related gives you cancer, probably.
Oh shit! I forgot. That's his name, Taiju.
Yeah.
Now I remember.
Fucking, I want to build a utopia of children and proceeds to release all of the 30-year-old virgins of the world.
That's
Fuck
not
that
Taiju.
dude.
Is that Taiju? I thought Taiju was
No,
a
no, you're
friend.
right. Taiju is the friend. Fuck, what was
You're
the
thinking
other
of
dude's name?
Comrade
Fuck, comrade. God, what the fuck is his
Tsubasa.
name?
Comrade Tsubasa.
Yeah, Tsubasa. I'm thinking of Tsubasa.
He doesn't think things give you cancer. He thinks that they'll create bullets and then kill you with them.
Yes. Specifically, he wants to avoid the creation of old money fuck boys.
Yes. Because I can't kill people with a stick.
Yeah.
Or a rock. Or, I don't know, sling poop at them with a sharpened stick.
I want to be able to shit in my hand and throw poop at people, and it'd be an effective
Pointy
tactic.
sticks.
Oh. But yeah, so Comrade Tsubasa and Senku and Yuzuriha, we'll probably see them again in the second season, and
Uh,
maybe fucking Tsubasa and Yuzuriha will play a bigger
the
part.
Tsubasa.
Taiju. Fuck.
Comrade Tsubasa is our main antagonist.
Dude, I'm all over the place tonight.
Is Ape Man, but kind of more raspy.
Yeah.
Who's also
What do you
coming
think
back
the odds are that Yuzuriha is going to become a more useful character than fucking Taiju?
She already is, basically.
I mean, she basically was. You're right. He was. Taiju was useful in that he was like the carry shit around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, she helped them out much more in better ways.
Mm.
Although part of it is that like they all form a team, so like if you get rid of Taiju, then the team is even weaker. Like even if he's bad at something.
But now we don't need Taiju.
This is true. Maybe he's stronger than what's his face.
Kinro and the girl and Magma.
I think you mean Kinro.
Kinro's
the little fuckboy.
Kinro's the fuckboy. Kinro is the stronger one. But yeah, we have Kinro and the girl who's strong as fuck, apparently, and Magma.
Yes.
Or not even apparently. We saw her be strong as fuck when she was carrying the water.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, we don't really need Taiju anymore.
Yeah, so Taiju's job as the muscle is sort of...
Taiju might die.
Taiju might die. There is a strong possibility given the sort of uselessness of his character at the moment.
But as of right now, that's Dr. Stone.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I'll probably watch the second season. Maybe even about longer. I don't know. Because I'm
really hoping that we do start. I still want to have him commit biological warfare against them.
Just give him some blankets.
Just shit upstream of him and watch them all get dysentery.
Right? Like, what are they going to do? Get better with medicine?
Yeah. God, it would be so satisfying. They won't, but I want them to.
I could even see, like, the very cartoonish picture of Senku just shitting in the bed, or shitting in the river, with, like, that like, devil smile.
Yeah.
Alright, Senku, what's the plan? We're gonna shit up the river. Just keep shitting.
Just keep shitting.
Is anyone sick?
Collect deer shit, throw it in the water.
Is anyone sick? Even better.
Perfect. Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but I'll probably continue with the second season. I don't know if I'll continue with all of the second season. We'll see like how it goes and how far into the war arc, and if they're going to keep going with like another arc after the war arc.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how far they kind of go all together, but I'll probably watch to at least the end of the war.
I think it's going to be like the next probably 3-4 episodes of season 2.
I think the war is going to be longer than that.
Uh-huh. I guess we'll see. But that is...
I mean, they still have to... There was a number of fucking Tsubasa's posse that actually had like faces, so there's a number of like lieutenants that we basically have to interact with that we haven't seen yet. Like the archer kid, we barely met the fucking pink-haired girl in the tree. There was another one who was hanging out with Tsubasa who wasn't fucking face mask Kylo Ren. And then yeah, we have face mask Kylo Ren and Tsubasa, so
yeah.
We have like a handful of fucking people to go through before we get to Tsubasa.
I just love the whole concept of like the lieutenants in anime for shonen. They're just so much fun.
They're always interesting to deal with because like it almost always requires like, you know, a whole bunch of 1v1s with the different characters, which is always interesting.
It's a very good way to show off what your characters can do. And usually, I just like how they're all paired up usually, as our villain is always usually has an advantage over the character they're fighting. Mm-hmm. And it makes for a very good kernel to create a fun story, a fun fighting arc where our main character has, or our character has to, find a way to beat someone who's got an advantage over them.
Yeah. And like they can even do, in 1v2 situations, you can use it to display like, the opponent is so powerful that they can take on two people and not be at risk. And then they have to like figure out a way to work together, especially if like they're not two people who usually can work together.
Boom, we could write a manga.
Dude, I could fucking storyboard the shit out of a manga. Would not be good, but I could do it.
Right? I could write an anime. It wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
But it would be.
I couldn't draw anything. I could storyboard the shit out of an anime, absolutely.
So let's move on to our next show, and that is Cautious Hero. And I guess the thing to talk about here is the second to last episode, where it has like a sharp tone shift, and then it just shoots right back to where it used to be at the end of the episode, into the last episode.
Yeah. So specifically, we have the sort of dick around section of the second to last episode, where the kids and the goddess run around and do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, for like about 4 minutes.
Yeah,
but there's
and then we have what is the actual final boss fight with the lieutenant or the fucking the war master, and then we have the final episode and the joke of a fight against the demon lord.
Yes. Well, no, the third to last episode was the fight with the lieutenant. Second to last episode.
Oh right, is figuring out her past. I forgot about that.
Yes, the first.
I forgot that it was a whole episode.
The first 4 minutes are Rista and the two kids just doing stuff. I kind of liked how they did it because something always felt off throughout those 4 minutes. So that was really that was a nice touch. And the reason it feels off is because we find out that what's his face kind of ran off on his own. Blah blah blah. Who really gives a shit about him? He's not a fucking character. Let's fuck him. What's important is Rista. Because we find out about her past, because that's infinitely more interesting than anything else in the show.
Yeah. So we find out that basically she was the princess of another timeline and another world.
Failed.
The one that failed. Who specifically was being guided by her friend goddess.
Yes, big booby red hair.
Yeah.
I don't know her name.
We were told earlier was like one of the best and had passed a whole bunch of other things, but apparently she fucked up that one.
Despite that it's B class, but what?
Yeah.
Keep going.
So we find out that basically the reason that they failed was because our main character, the hero, who's not a character, was more of like a fuck around, I just want to fight things and, be the hero and win. I don't want to actually like try that hard.
Yeah.
So he wasn't doing any training. He was just sort of running in head first, eyes closed, can't lose mentality, and fumble fucking his way forward to victory.
Guess what? He lost.
Yeah. So we get to the Demon Lord, and we find out he did not double tap. Rule 1, or Rule 2, double tap.
Something else that I kind of something I didn't like in that episode was that the Demon Lord looked so fucking goofy.
Oh, absolutely.
It was the Frogman from Mario 2.
It was absolutely the frog boss from Mario 2. I thought that too.
And now like it's supposed to be our like big boss for the next season if there is one,
if there is one.
Yeah. And like I just so for the most part this episode was very well done in that like it was actually pretty like a darker episode. But then you get to the fucking Demon Lord, I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like you're kind of ruining the tone. Like it's a very great tone shift and then you just fuck it up.
Yeah. It did a great job of like suddenly creating stakes.
Yes.
Because like this whole show, it kind of felt like
it didn't really
the characters didn't matter.
Yeah.
Everything was sort of like up in the air.
It's fun
Even with the introduction of the whole chain break thing, where like they could actually die.
Which
you were still
made
like,
no sense, and I was confused the entire time.
Yeah. It was still a concept where you were like, whatever. Like maybe they'll pull through, maybe they won't. It's just sort of a joke the whole time. So like it finally created stakes in the second to last episode where it was like these two people knew each other and were gonna have a kid and both got killed by this demon lord, and like it created this whole backstory all of a sudden, and it became like a serious show for a moment where you were like, fuck, like that was dark. Like I got to the end of the episode and I was like, I don't know how to feel about this. Like I came here to laugh, not to feel things. And
and then
then
it doesn't
you
matter.
go to the last episode, and it doesn't fucking matter.
It was okay that it didn't really matter because like at the core of the show, it was just supposed to be like loosey goosey and fun.
Yeah.
What I was hoping, like post, like looking back on it, I feel like if they did want to even hammer it home some more, it should have kind of built it up a little bit over time. Kind of like, just like in that episode where it was very dark, the first couple of minutes, like there's not something kind of wrong. I wish it had set that up earlier, like throughout the show. You know, so it's funny, but there's still something like weird about it, like in the background.
Yeah.
Or like have like little glimpses of what's his face Seiya, like remembering who Risa is, and Risa kind of recalling some of those memories and things feeling kind of weird, and then you get this explosive like twist, and it would have been such a great payoff, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Like
From what
they could have tried to tie in the dragon twins as like Rista could have looked at them as like the children
Her
that
kids,
she never
yeah.
had, but never understood like why she felt that way about them because like they're just two kids that showed up. And so like you could have had whole comedy skits of like her mothering them and then being like, "What the fuck am I doing? Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah, which then just becomes like on a rewatch. It becomes very. It just becomes your perspective changes, and like it's still kind of funny, but there's that like under emotion where you're just like, oh god, now I feel bad.
Yeah. Like if for the first time you watch it, you might think like, "Oh yeah, she's doing it because she's the kind of a nice person," and then is weirded out about it for whatever reason. And like in a rewatch, you're like, "Oh, she's doing this because she still has like connections to kids she never had."
And even then, like at least something that they did with that, like this whole changing of perspective thing, is how like she's so attracted to Seiya. That at least was changed, and I really do like that. It was very interesting.
Yeah. That was the only thing that we got that we were talking about of like
that
it
was
showed the connection that they had kind of.
Like this twist could have had more impact like retroactively than it did. But if the I guess the author still wanted this to just be a fun little thing where this was his joke to everyone else was to just make it really dark for an episode, it's also worked. I still really liked it.
It did. Yeah, then we have the last episode and the fucking disappointment that was the fucking boss fight, which was absolutely not a boss fight.
The mother from the chocolate episode of SpongeBob, just really big.
Yeah. Jesus fuck that Death Gate or whatever the fuck it was called was a fucking nightmare.
Oh wait, the first Death Gate or the second Death Gate?
The second Death Gate.
Oh no, that's Valkyrie Gate. Valkyrie Gate.
Yeah, Valkyrie Gate. I'm sorry.
The one that's sassy.
The one that fucking comes out and talks to you, yeah.
And eats the other one.
That was a fucking just Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, we have that. We have the Valkyrie Gate thing, and like Seiya trying to save the world and restart sacrificing her godliness probably so that she can save him, and like it did a good-ish job of trying to tie into like the whole Restart understands and is like committed to trying to save Seiya because she actually loves him, isn't just in lust with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of undercut by the whole time you were left wondering like, what the fuck is this chain destruction thing?
How does it
and
work?
Why are they not leaving?
Yeah. Was it like an area effect? Was it a move that like is on you for a couple of minutes? Like,
yeah.
How does it work? What's going on? Because before, when we saw chain destruction, it was like an actual move thing with the tentacles. But then when what's her face goes out into the castle after she finds out her past, she's like, "Oh, I can feel chain destruction." And I'm like, "What? Is it like an area thing now?"
The castle was chain destruction.
I guess so, but then like that begs the question: why didn't you just go away? You already broke the rules, so why not just dip out?
Yeah, it's actually the seal of Orichalcos from Yu-Gi-Oh. Somebody has to go into the Shadow Realm once you activate it.
If they said that, that would make some more sense. I'd be okay. But like as it stands, I just didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, they could have done a better job of like representing it somehow. Was I felt like the real disappointment in it because we saw the tentacle things in like multiple different scenes when they teased it a long time ago. 2 episodes ago with the War Master, even when we first showed up in the Demon Lord's chambers, I think he had the tentacle things out. Like chain destruction was those tentacles in my mind,
right?
And then it just wasn't all of a sudden. It was suddenly the castle as a whole, and there was no way they were representing that where it made sense to me. Because like suddenly they were just like, the Seal of Orichalcos is all over, or the Seal of Orichalcos. You can see how I'm thinking of it in my head.
Yeah.
Chain destruction is everywhere. Like, we can't escape it now. Ignoring the fact that they just teleported into the bowels of the castle and should absolutely be able to turn around and teleport out because we've already broken the rules, just break some more. But yeah, like, there was no way they were representing it. They could have had, like, fucking, like, demon writing that was glowing red all over the walls.
Or even
They could
on
have had
him.
they could have had a seal on the ground or something. Like, they could have had some way of showing it. What they could have tied into the fact that he had eaten it was, like, if it could have been something like,
Yeah, if you get hit
some
with it,
symbols or something there.
It's on you. You're right.
Yeah, and they could have showed, like, as the second Valkyrie gate shows up, like, some part of it fades away, but you don't notice it because Say is dying. So, like, he could have had, like, the fucking chain destruction, like, on the back of his hand or something, or, like, cut into him, and, like, as he breaks apart, it fades away. So, like, if you rewatch it, you'd see, like, oh, look, like, the chain destruction thing goes away, and so that's how he doesn't die forever. Instead, we're just sort of left with he dies, and they wanted to surprise us with him being alive, but I just sort of felt cheated.
Yeah, I actually didn't think he did. I was like, just get the entire last 10 minutes out. My thought process was just fucking get to it. Like, he's not
I just
dead.
wanted him to be dead because, like, I just wanted the stakes to be real. Like, they didn't show that the chain destruction thing ever got removed, so I was like, you just have to kill him now. Like, unless you running that back the way they did was a disappointment because it undercut themselves. Like, they created this whole stake, the chain destruction thing, and Restart's connection to him, this whole thing, and did at no point attempt to show you what chain destruction was or him beating it in some way, even vaguely, so that, like, when you rewatch it, you could see, like, oh, that was the moment right there.
Mm-hmm.
They just sort of, it covered it all with this fucking the fucking Deus Ex Machina that was the Valkyrie Gate, the second Valkyrie Gate, and the fact that it ate the chain destruction, despite the fact that it wasn't a real thing. They just undercut themselves, and I'm like, you created all of these stakes and, like, the importance of this fight, and then just fucking kicked it all to hell just to be able to have Seiya be alive again. Like, have something mean something, let the stakes be real, or show me them being beaten. Don't just do it, like, off screen and tell me, like, oh yeah, this thing that happened was the reason why, but we didn't show it to you.
Yeah. Also, if I remember correctly, I think they broke their own rules. Like, in the show, in the rules of the show, one of the rules is you can't bring someone back to another world.
Yeah.
And they've done that twice already.
Yeah, that was definitely a rule. Once a hero loses, they can't go back to that world.
Right. So I think what's her face? Ishtar says, you can't bring someone back to another world, but I'll allow it this time, despite the fact that this is the second time this has happened.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I'm pretty sure they also said that as the hero, once you die or, like, win or lose, you're supposed to get reborn and be done.
Unless chain destruction is a thing.
Unless chain destruction is a thing. But I'm saying, like, for the first time with Seiya, when he died, he was supposed to get reborn and just it be done. Like, you got one chance to be a hero, and then you were out of the pool. Was I thought how they explained it.
Yeah.
And then he just wasn't out of the pool.
I would like it if that was, like, the reason that the thing is because of some clerical error. That's the best time to add that in. I would be completely okay with it. Because it matches the tone of the show, and it would just be funny, like how the gods are just office workers.
That would have been great.
Due to a clerical error, he's back in the pool.
He's back in the pool. Sucks to be you, Seiya.
Overall, this show was okay, though. Despite the fact that how much I said I liked that last episode, overall it was eh. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny.
It had its moments. I don't know if I would recommend it to anybody specifically.
I mean, if you like Isekai, you'd probably like it. But,
yeah,
like, there's just other funnier shows that have good emotional moments that you could also be watching. I guess that's my ending thought is there's better shows.
Yeah. It had moments of what I called at the beginning Konosuba energy, and there was a lot of moments of time in between that you just sort of had to survive.
Which basically
for
was
a show is not what I want.
Yeah, it was the plot, Bunny quotes, plot, which was the weakest part, where I just wasn't interested. I just wanted them to get back to just fapping about, because I was just so entertaining. Mostly because the show was carried on the back of Rista. She was phenomenal basically throughout.
Yes. She was absolutely great.
The two kids are
funny. The voice actress did a great job.
Seiya was only really funny with Rista.
Yes.
And that's about it, because he's not really a character.
No, not at all. The fighting sucked, except for the fight against the War Master. I actually liked that one for some reason.
I don't really remember it too much. But yeah, overall most of the fighting was just dumb.
It was the first fight where, from beginning to end, it actually felt like
there was stakes and
could
stuff
lose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it was like the first time where Seiya kicked out like everything that he had, which what the Demon Lord fight could have been, but then we just double Valkyrie gated our way to victory. But yeah, it was the only fight we had where it felt like Seiya could actually lose, which is what made it interesting to me. Every other fight was just Seiya flexed on people with how overpowered he was.
Right, and the way that One Punch Man gets around this is by having your weaker characters do all the cool fighting first, and then Saitama just comes in and just kicks someone, or punches someone in the face. Like, the emotional moment with the Seeking fight is with Moomin Rider. And like the very explosive part is with what's his name? The one with the rockets on his back.
Genos. Or Genos.
Yeah, you have, but whatever, Genos. You have both of them right before Saitama comes in. And if we wanted the fight to be cool, I think that's what they would have to do at some point, something like that, where Mash fights for a little bit. Mm-hmm. But like in this case, Mash would have to be a bit stronger, so like he can actually go to toe someone. So he loses. And then Seiya comes in and just beats the crap out of them. That way...
I mean, to be fair, Mash gets fucking lizard transformation and then perfect lizard transformation.
And does
never
nothing.
Uses it.
Yeah.
At least what's-her-name gets haste and actually, like, uses it in a few fights. He gets fucking perfect lizard transformation, never uses it.
Not even his... Does he even use his hand one? Like, just the normal hand one?
I don't remember. I remember him like vaguely breaking out when they go to the Dragon Realm to show that he's a dragon, but other than that, I don't remember if he does.
No, he uses Perfect Dragon Transformation to pick up the dead flies.
Right, he does.
And that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, overall, it's okay show.
It's an okay show. I wouldn't recommend it to like a huge amount of people. I wouldn't recommend it off like straight out to people, but yeah, if you're a fan of the isekai comedy genre and are looking for something to watch because you've watched a whole bunch of other things, I mean, it's all right.
Yeah. This isn't like Dr. Stone, but I would actually recommend it to people. It's very fun, interesting. I think most people would like it.
If you enjoy any sort of like
sci-fi,
the shonen genre, I think Food Wars is a good comparison to it because it's the combination of shonen with something that is not the usual like shonen battle manga style.
Yeah.
That like Kimetsu no Yaiba had. Dr. Stone is like an interesting combination of the sci-fi and the shonen genre, where if you can deal with shonen and you like sci-fi, Dr. Stone would be enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. I guess this is the perfect time to get into our last show, Oresuki. And apparently you have things to say about this.
Oh yeah, holy crap. Okay, so
well, first off, this show actually didn't end.
No, it did not. Yeah, that was upsetting. Doesn't fucking end. Has no attempt at an ending. Other things that like they know they're gonna have an OVA. At least fucking take a halfway stab at an ending. Whatchamacallit? Fucking Bunny Girl Senpai had an ending. Like I know they were leaving open the last arc with the fucking the beach girl.
Yeah.
And all that. Like they were leaving it open because they were gonna have an OVA, but it had an ending to what it was dealing with. Oresuki literally fucking ended at the like climax of a moment.
Yes. So Bunny Girl ended at an arc. We are still in the middle of an arc for Oresuki.
Yeah, basically. Not even in the middle. We're in like the 3/4.
Yeah.
Like the only thing left is
the final
this
episode.
Baseball thing and the showdown for who's going to get the girl.
Unless it's more than one episode, but I highly doubt it.
I highly doubt it. Like contextually in the show, other than like he's probably going to interact with all of the characters before the baseball tournament, all that they have to do is go to this baseball tournament and then do like the final showdown with the giving of the fucking tokens. Oh god. Okay. So what was the last thing we did? Were we at the start of this? Did we do any of this arc before?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So the Kohai comes up as a character who used to go to the same middle school as Pansy. We later find out that the Kohai has a thing for this one boy that we meet, the other harem protagonist that Joro meets earlier in the one of the other arcs, the book arc.
The book arc.
um, and she's trying to get. That's why she's trying to get Pansy a boyfriend, so that she can
Yes.
go after the boy she likes, because the boy she likes, the other hand protagonist, likes Pansy.
Yes, it's very middle school.
Yes. Um, the way the Kohai does this is she basically um, bribes Joro with nudes
Yeah.
and with like her own cosplay pics,
Uh-huh.
which honestly is probably the best way for Joro.
Yes, absolutely.
Because before this episode, we were wondering like how this was gonna go.
Uh-huh.
Because like he was already given the task of getting what's his face, his friend, to go out with Pansy.
Yep.
So we've already done that, and we already know that it didn't end well. So like you can't really go back to it and try another time. Which to be fair, that's not actually what happens. He just kind of faffs about for a little bit and pretends to do it in order to get the other nudie.
Yeah. In order to figure out why this is happening and how he can get his hands on the second lewd.
Yeah. And throughout this time, he's also getting helped by the other character you don't like, blue-haired girl, newspaper chick.
Yeah, newspaper girl.
Newspaper girl. At the end of this episode, we find out that maybe Sun still wants Pansy. Well, by the way, it's a complete double bluff. That's fucking obvious from a mile away. We had to spend an entire fucking episode, the second to last episode, or last episode? I don't know.
The last episode.
Last episode. We had to spend an entire episode with Joro trying to figure out what Sun's Chen angle was. Because he said, like, oh, I'm going to go out Pansy now if I win this fucking game.
Yeah.
And Joro's like, oh, did he actually mean it? I don't think he meant it. Maybe he did mean it. So now I need Pansy because I kind of like her now. And all this other shit, even though it's obvious to fucking everyone that he doesn't actually mean it. Sun doesn't want to go out with her. He knows that what's-his-face really likes Pansy.
Yeah.
Which is weird because they were alone in a classroom.
Yep.
And Sun doesn't tell him the plan.
Sun at no point explains the plan.
Yeah.
The doors are closed and nobody's even listening.
Well, there's someone listening, yes, but they don't know.
Was there somebody listening?
Yeah, I think it was newspaper girl.
Okay.
Well, someone is listening.
But you know, like nobody else is in the classroom.
Yeah, they don't know.
After
like
class.
For all they know, they're completely alone. There's no reason to fucking lie.
Yeah, there's no reason for Sun to fucking continue with this thing, and yet still ends it. Not on like he could just tell Joro the thing. He still ends it on the fucking like hint of like just do what you need to do. Meaning obviously like Joro needs to man up and fucking do something for himself. Sun just could fucking tell him to his face.
Like, yo, this was a play. Go out with her because I know you like this chick.
Yeah, this was a play to get the other dude to back off. This is your moment, bro.
Yes. And he just doesn't say anything.
Just doesn't fucking say anything. He ends it with a coded remark, and then Joro, like the wet fucking blanket that he is half of the time, just goes off and mopes in the corner for
half an episode.
About like Sun wants to go out with Pansy, and I have to just accept that and do nothing about it. And like we see him fucking hang out with the other girls. He's like, I should be happy for the harem that I have, but I want the harem that I don't have, which includes Pansy. And like he just doesn't fucking do anything. For like fucking 15 minutes, he does nothing.
But at least we have a shining light, wherein Bitchy Joro comes back for the last 5 minutes. And it's a glorious 5 minutes in my opinion. Where he turns it up to 11 on his douchiness scale.
Yeah, it's a fucking up and down thing of because he decides like I'm finally gonna do what I should have done 10 minutes ago and actually fucking give a shit about Pansy and try. So he busts back in and he challenges the other dude to like basically a fucking popular contest where he's like, the girls will vote because there are 4 that go to my school, 2 that go to your school, so I'll probably win. And so he plays this whole game of I challenge you, and the dude accepts. And he's like, now that you've accepted, we're going to play a game that's obviously in my favor.
Right, the game being the girls will get to choose who's going to go out with Pansy.
Yeah, including Pansy. I believe Pansy also gets a vote.
Yes, all the girls. Pansy, the 2 girls from the other middle school, and then newspaper chick, Cosmos.
And fucking, God, Sunflower, I don't remember what her name is.
Himawari,
yeah. So they come to this, Joro basically forces them into this agreement of how it works. Everybody's going to take a vote. You know, we get the fucking theme music playing, and in a twist, which is so fucking obvious, from a million miles away, all three of the girls who go to his school say, "We want to vote now," and they give it to the other kid. Million fucking miles away, I saw that shit coming. It was so bleedingly fucking obvious that they were gonna pull that shit.
I think it was supposed to be obvious because the entire time we're supposed to be laughing at Joro because he just thinks he has it in the bag, and most of this show is laughing at him when everything goes to shit again.
I would agree if it weren't for the theme music.
But that's the thing, the theme music was part of the joke.
The theme music ends up being part of the joke because Joro plays into it, but I think it was also supposed to be a joke on us. Because we, like Joro, were supposed to believe that Joro was going to win.
Okay.
And this was like his crowning moment of like, I've got you.
Okay, I could see it both ways.
But it ended up being, just because it was so obvious, it just didn't come off that way. And yeah. But so we have, the agreement to this thing, the girls vote, and Joro is shocked that they didn't vote for him. It's totally not guessable that the three girls who are fucking obsessed with him are going to try and knock out one of their competitors. And then we just get the fucking comeback for the OVA. There is no resolution.
Yes, that's the ending.
And I guess, like, obviously, as I think about it, like, the whole point of this isn't supposed to be like Joro wins, the other three people leave, their whole dilemma, unresolved. The obvious resolution to this is going to be Joro figures out how to convince the two girls to be selfish and think about themselves.
Yes. That would make it a tie where I think Pansy's going to vote for him because he wants to go with Pansy, and then the Kohai's going to come in and vote for him as well.
Oh, maybe I didn't think of that.
Because right now,
I just assumed it was going to end 3-3, and the dude was going to give up because he was finally going to be faced with two girls actually like admitting their feelings for him, and Pansy not voting for him was going to have it be like, I guess you should just take the win, dude.
Yes, maybe. So there's 6 characters, so I know there's going to be a tie at some point. Either your thing happens or my thing happens, or something else happens too, but I'm fairly confident.
I could also see the Kohai getting a vote.
Yeah.
Or Sun getting a vote for winning.
He's part of the harem.
It's absolutely part of the harem. Sunchan is the best member of the harem. Did you see the fucking pool episode?
Oh man, that pool episode. This show also has another character who isn't a character, the other guy, the other harem protagonist.
Yeah, the other harem protagonist, not 8-Man, happy 8-Man, we'll call him. Actually, he's Kirito. What am I talking about? The dude is so obviously Kirito.
No, wait, what? Like actual voice actor wise?
No, not voice actor wise, but face wise.
They're all Kirito. Even fucking Joro looks like Kirito.
Kind of. Well, the dude, this other dude straight up has like, it's vaguely purple, but dude looks like Kirito with purple hair. It is upsetting how close they look.
I thought he had like kind of hair going down his face, not down his face, but like I think I'm remembering his face wrong because it looked to me, I think, spiky-ish hair.
Kirito has spiky-ish hair.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm completely remembering it wrong, but if he's Kirito, I'll believe you because you've enjoyed more of SAO than I have. Okay. Yes, I see it now.
Yeah. And I can post a picture of Hose later. But yeah, so...
Oh my god, I forgot his name's Hose.
His name's Hose. Because he's one step up from Joro, who was Watering Can.
Is his name actual Hose?
I don't remember. I remember the joke about hose and watering can.
I mean, like, is it hose or the Japanese word for hose?
I don't remember.
Because if it's actually hose, I wanted to make a joke about actual hose.
They translate it, or they, like, in the subtitles, it's always written as hose, right? But I don't remember what they say.
I think they do say hose.
You might be right.
Man, I wish that the author had more English literacy, or more English, more knowledge of English. What's the word? Oh my god.
Wordplay?
Not wordplay. Wordplay and also slang.
Oh yeah. Because specifically you wanted to make a dick joke.
No, it's hose and the hose.
Oh, got it. That's what you're going for.
But also a dick joke.
I thought you wanted them to talk about hose is hose.
Hose is hose long. But anyways.
Greg with the third leg. But
Yes.
yeah, so we have this whole episode which ends with come back for the OVA because we're not going to resolve this fucking arc.
Yep.
And I'm just salty nuts about this. Like, if you're gonna do an arc, finish the fucking arc. Don't like then make it like, oh yeah, you have to buy the OVA. This is basically like buy DLC to be able to finish the game. I'm upset about
This is actually opposite of what gamers did.
This is the opposite of what gamers
Gamers
did.
finished the story and then had an OVA
A
as
free
an
bonus
actual
episode where they talked about microtransactions. This is just microtransactions.
Yeah.
This is buy the final episode by fucking buying the Blu-ray.
Okay, hold on. This is anime. It's not a fucking microtransaction. That OVA is probably like $50 fucking.
You're not wrong. But goddamn, am I upset about the fact that like they just took an L on finishing this arc because they want to put it in the OVA. I mean, content-wise, I'm upset at the author for a number of things. This arc included, vaguely, but
I like this arc. I just wish we'd seen the end.
I like a lot of this arc. The thing with Sun was particularly upsetting.
Yes, that was very not good. But also, I guess I have some news to share. This is something we were talking about throughout this show.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the differences between the light novel, the manga, and then this show. Like, this show is a translation, an adaptation of the light novel, and the manga has some things that are different, like some of the jokes, where you found that like the death joke is more mean rather than weird.
Yep.
The writer is actually the writer of the light novel for this show.
Huh.
I don't know if the manga is like adapting it and it's like kind of someone else's version. But this, like, the writer for the light novel was hired on as a writer for this show as well.
Interesting.
So this might be closer to what was actually intended than the manga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, fun little fact.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. But yeah, the show that didn't end. What a doozy.
Yeah. The show that didn't end, and we will not be covering the ending because on principle and because I'm too lazy to do it, I refuse to watch the OVA.
I'll probably do it if someone translates it. I don't know.
I say on principle. In reality, it's just because I'm too lazy to go find it whenever it comes out. But
I don't even know when it's coming out.
I don't know. Hopefully it's soon. Otherwise, fucking having this ending is even more offensive.
It's like the ending of the second season of Yahari, where it doesn't end and you're left with a cliffhanger. With
no third season in sight at the time.
Yes, at the time, which was 2 or 3 years ago.
The second season of Yahari was longer ago than that, dude.
Oh my god, was it? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh
I think it came out my second year in college the first time around.
Oh, we've been doing this for 2 years, or for over 2 years. I forgot.
We've been doing this for a long time.
All right. Well, anyways. Yes, now that's gonna come out next season, but
it came out when I was 20, so it was 5 years ago.
Oh Christ! All right. Well, anyways, yes. Now we'll be getting a third season for that, but I don't know if we'll be getting a second season for Oisuki. I would say I hope we do. I do enjoy the show, so I would like to see more of it.
It has its ups and downs. Yeah. Its ups mostly coincide with when Joro decides to be a douchebag again.
Like, douchebag Joro is just the best character.
Absolutely.
Joro is both the worst and best character of the show.
Oh, absolutely.
When he's Sorry, you can go. I was going to say something.
I hope that if they do a season 2, because Joro is starting to actually have a harem, it allows him to be more of a douchebag in his, like, I'm finally amassing a harem. How do I keep this going?
How do I get more?
Yeah.
How do I not get them to, like, kill me?
Right. I want it to be, once he wins Pansy, he's like, all right, I've now assembled 4 girls who like me. How do I get them to agree to a sister wives thing?
How do I have to have my cake, or eat my cake and have it too?
Exactly.
So, I recently heard...
That is the plot of developing season 2, is developing the actual harem, but we'll see.
Yeah, how does he get to stay, actually go with Pansy, but also with the other girls?
Exactly.
But we'll see what happens. Overall, I would recommend the show. I think it was fun enough. I think more people are gonna like the ups than downs. I felt like it was more up than down.
I would say so.
Okay.
There was only a handful of moments in like individual episodes, other than the news arc or the newspaper story arc, which I hated. I did not like that one. It was super pointless as an arc.
Luckily,
other than that arc, largely it was pretty good.
Okay. So, of all the three shows, which one would you think are the funniest? Because they were all, for the most part, comedies. Even though Dark Stone, a lot of sci-fi and shonen, it was basically at its core a comedy as well.
Which one did I find the funniest? I think the funniest. What do you mean by funniest? Define funniest.
See, that's hard. Because at first I was going to ask you what like funniest versus the one you enjoy. Which one was the hardest you've laughed at? Because for me, that's actually Cautious Hero.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Cautious Hero. I was thinking of specifically the reason why I paused was thinking of that one of the Red Letter Media things we watched, where they were talking about the individual spike in funniness or like whatever they were talking about, like a single moment that
there's like a single moment
that like consistent run that was Orisuke. Orisuke was consistently funny. Cautious Hero had individual spikes of like uncontrollable laughter.
Yes, and that was mostly because of Rista. Like the moments where she shines, she fucking shines.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely
just so fucking funny. And then it stops being funny for a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not entertaining. It's still entertaining throughout for the most part, but like, you just don't get as many laughter or those fits of laughter.
Yeah.
As you'd like.
There were probably in all of Cautious Hero like 5 or 6 moments of gut-busting laughter in that show, which is for comedies like better than most.
Yeah.
But the problem.
Sorry,
the only funny part. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The problem was those were largely the only funny parts of that show. I was either laughing uncontrollably or I was not laughing at all.
It was a very feast or famine show.
Yeah. But if we're just talking about purely the funniest moments, Cautious Hero has got to take the cake.
Yes. But like consistently, I had more fun watching Orisuke and Dr. Stone.
Yeah. Then I would say in terms of consistently funny, Orisuke was more consistently funny than Dr. Stone, in my opinion.
Yes, but Dr. Stone had something that the other two did not, and that was like actual heart.
Yes,
there were some very good emotional moments in Dr. Stone, which Cautious Hero basically had one kind of moment which kind of falls a little flat, even if it was really well done. And Orisuke had tried to do some moments, but the moments where Jora's being a douchebag are by far the better parts. It has heart, but I don't want heart. I want Joro to be a douche.
Yeah. The only part of Orisuke where they did emotional stuff that I actually enjoyed was the moments where they were talking about his friendship with Sun. Jora's friendship with Sun,
because like they're actual bros.
Yeah, they actually had like bro time and like did bro things, and it was enjoyable to watch. And it was just two people with no ulterior motives having fun together, and that was cool to watch.
That's the only time no one has ulterior motives in the show.
It's true. Yep.
Oh, and also that one girl who like had that moment where she thought she was gonna be just like maybe a bad character, but I was right. In the end, she did jack shit.
Oh yeah, the gal who becomes
not the
kind
gal,
of a serious person.
Not the gal. I was thinking of the other girl, the one that actually does nothing. The gal had some pretty funny moments. I loved the gal.
The gal had some pretty funny moments. You're talking about the fucking grill girl.
Yeah.
Who we convinced ourselves there was going to be this whole subplot of him like actually owing her money for wasting the skewers or whatever.
Yeah, I was really hoping she did. Oh well.
But then she was just sort of a character that existed to get Joro off his ass in the last episode.
Exactly.
But yeah, Orisuke was pretty consistently funny and had a few moments of like genuine, like I cared about it, but largely I was just there for the comedy.
Yeah.
Dr. Stone was basically the inverse. I enjoyed the character interactions and I laughed occasionally.
Okay. The best show by far that we watched, Dr. Stone.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. None of the two hold a candle.
No, not at all.
It had the music, it had the visuals, it had the actual writing. On the other hand, Kazuya and Norisuke were fun, but, you know, they were fun without, like, all the other doodads.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you watched any of Babylon yet?
Not yet. Oh.
Okay. I've not either.
Okay.
So, without having seen... So I think we're both planning on waiting until it's all come out and then watching all of the final arc together.
Make it go completely once over, just to have all those bad emotions catharsis away.
Yeah. And then not leave us sort of at the like with what happened, a horrible thing and no resolution. I just want to get the whole thing out and have resolution
Yeah,
for the story.
just take a shower afterwards.
Good or bad, I want there to be an ending and be done with it.
Hmm.
Um, do you think, given
What have we seen so far?
Babylon has a good ending, like a satisfying ending, to add on to what we've seen so far, would you put it above or below Doctor Stone in terms of best show of the season?
That's kind of hard because like they're very different shows.
They
Like for
are.
Doctor Stone, you watch it for like the heart and to have fun. For
Hmm.
Babylon, you watch because it's an exciting thriller, or that's
Uh-huh.
the reason you'd want to watch it. So I don't know if I could compare them.
I will
Like I
say,
would honestly like if it would go by recommending, I'd say Doctor Stone more than Babylon because more
uh-huh.
people would like Doctor Stone. Some people might for Babylon it might not be their cup of tea. Like
That's fair, yeah.
it's
Hmm.
like trying to tell someone to watch either like David Fincher or something like a Marvel movie. Like chances are they're gonna like the Marvel movie a lot, and
Yeah.
like depending on the person, they might like Seven or the social media more.
Hmm.
You know, different crowds. So I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that question.
All right. I will say for me, Babylon has definitely been one of the more compelling shows we ever watched.
Hmm.
Week to week, I've been excited to sit down and watch Babylon. Like when we were watching oh fuck, what the fuck was it called?
Banfish,
No, the other one. Boogie Pop.
Big Rock
When we were
Pop.
watching Boogie Pop, the Nightfish was good also. I was less compelled week to week to sit down and watch it, but I still enjoyed it.
Hmm.
Boogie Pop was a story, was like a thriller-esque story that like week to week I wasn't always in love with it as a story.
Okay,
There were some moments it was really good. There were some moments where I was like, I kind of had to survive another episode. This show,
but this one's been consistent week to week, episode to
yeah,
episode. You want more.
I want to know what's going on. Even with I and her whole magic bullshit that I'm not super in love with, week to week, the show is so interesting to me in terms of like how they're trying to create this whole thing and like what all is going to happen, what the point of all of this is. If it has a good ending, like a good resolution to all of this, where like it makes sense and is, even if they have to hand wave some stuff, vaguely believable at the end in terms of like the resolution makes sense, I think it will be my favorite show of the season.
Okay. At least one way they could hand wave the I becomes different people is that's like a uh, uh God, now I'm trying to think of the word. An unreliable narrative type of situation where people believe they're seeing someone else just because she's so good at like acting as someone else. So like
Hmm.
in truth, she's actually putting on costumes and inflecting her voice differently. It's just we're shown this by way of like her just kind of magically becoming different people.
Yeah.
That's one way I could feel them like explaining it away, and I wouldn't be too angry. Well, I'm not really angry anyways because I feel like having her be sort of this weird sort of like ghost type character is kind of interesting to me. I know some people like you said like you don't really like it, but I'm kind of okay with it.
Specifically, what I don't like about I is her weird, like,
Oh, also the whole death thing with
magical
her.
whore of Babylon. I touch people and they wanted to kill themselves
Yes,
thing.
that thing, right?
Her Linda McCartney powers, which are so powerful. Like when we thought originally that it was like
She
she
convinced them,
talked
right?
to
Yeah.
you and then you wanted to kill yourself, like she made you so satisfied you wanted to die. I was down for it. That was cool. That was compelling. The whole thing with the doctor, where like she, just in a conversation felt like she was consuming his soul. That was interesting. As soon as we found out that she was just touching people in the street and they wanted to kill themselves because of it, I was like, you're straying too far into like this is now magic, and I don't want the show to be just, magic.
I feel like they should have shown her whispering and have it be more of a stylistic shot where she's walking through whispering a bunch, but it's meant to signify that she convinced all these people throughout like
Yeah,
her day.
yeah, that would have been better.
Hmm.
The way they showed it was just her tapping people on
Yeah,
the shoulder and then them smiling and turning around and following her. I
like a
did
little
not
Pied Piper.
enjoy. Yeah, but we'll see how it ends. As long as it has a good resolution or good ending to the story overall, I think it will be my favorite show of the season.
All right. Well, we'll see what once it finishes up in the next 2 weeks, I think.
I think so.
So I guess back to the original episode. What do you like? What would you like to sell out to today?
So I'm going to sell out to two things because it's been so long that I now have two things to sell out to.
All right.
First, I'm going to sell out to the Netflix Korean drama. I believe it's called Crash Landing on You. Yes, it is. Which I've recently been watching, which is about a girl from South Korea who, because of a surprise tornado, ends up crashing in North Korea. It's absolutely adorable, and I love it to death. And yeah, if you like romance shows and weird depictions of North Korea as a shitty dictatorship, because it absolutely is one, Crash Landing on You is absolutely adorable.
What a fucking understatement.
It's, yeah, seriously. They do a good job of shitting on North Korea, which is interesting to watch. But it's interesting because I've never seen something that has like depicted North Korea. I'm sure that if I was South Korean, I'd see more shows that depict North Korea more normally or more regularly. But since I don't watch a whole bunch of South Korean shows, that I don't. Yeah, basically, I don't watch a whole bunch of South Korean shows. This is the first time I've ever seen it depicted in a soap opera-esque form. So it's really interesting the way they do it by shitting all over North Korea for being just a garbage dictatorship that hates its citizens. But the romance aspect is adorable, and our main characters are great. But yeah, so if you like romance shows, go check out Crash Landing on You. It's great. And then my second sellout is to Eminem and his new album that he most recently released. Yeah, Music to Be Murdered By, which is almost entirely an album he said he wouldn't release on Kamikaze, which is the reply to everyone who hated Kamikaze by telling them once again to get fucked. Eminem is a delight as a character.
Maybe his next album will be I Do What I Want.
For somebody who released the Marshall Mathers LP and then didn't release anything for 4 years, he has basically released back to back to back 3 albums in 3 years. Like, he went from I release an album once every 5 years for no particular reason, just because I can and because I'm strung out on pain pills, to all of a sudden he's just produced fucking crazy amounts of albums, and they almost all are get fucked nerds. But there's some really good songs on Music to Be Murdered By. There's a lot of, classic in Eminem style, like, things that Eminem just has to say, which are good songs that I won't, go back to very often, but there's a couple songs on that album which are fucking amazing. Specifically, Ya Ya and Godzilla are phenomenal fucking songs. But
does Godzilla have a sample of Scream?
I don't think it does.
Okay, cool. I don't care about it then.
But yeah, so shout out to you, Eminem, and your surprise album. Continue to be you. Continue to release albums every year where you continue to complain about the fact that people just hate you now. I'll love you forever, as long as you continue to make music. I don't care if you only release one good song a year. The song is absolutely worth it every single time.
Okay. And so I guess...
What would you like to sell out to?
I guess it hops over to me.
I mean, there are only 2 of us, and I said I was going to sell out to 2 things, and I did my 2 sellouts.
Yes, but I was waiting to see if you were finished or not, Nick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I would like to sell out to whoever translates half of the shit on my manga reading list, because I'm ready to buy shit and I've got space for it, and I want to buy my goddamn manga that I want to read. But
I mean, if you want them translated, you have to say it by name. So go ahead and tell us. What are you reading?
There's so many though. Okay, so here are a couple of ones that I want translated.
Yeah, the big ones.
67% inertia, which I'd love to have. But it'd be very weird if someone just opened it up and started reading it. Not really. I don't know. 67% inertia. Because I want to look like I'm a weirdo. Bimajo no Ayano-san, which is the one about the MILF. I'm still scrolling over. Inami-kun wa Ikuro no Gasurai. Inami-kun has a painful life, which is just kind of funny. Defying Wish has one, I think. Let me keep scrolling through. No, I'm not gonna say that one out loud.
This is why I'm making you do this, because I want you to say these ones out loud.
Fucking, I want to show you. I want you to show me your panties. That one needs an official translation.
That's good.
What else is there?
What a fucking manga where it started out as just the like major pictures, as basically like a lewd image collection,
and then like.
And then somehow got an actual publication, and it got a one shot, and then got an actual publication.
Yep.
What a fucking development for that dude.
What a way to go. Meiruku-chan is a big one. Nico Wasurayo. Please put these on Takami-san, but I'm not gonna. Fuck, I'm not gonna buy that one.
I don't even think there's a full volume worth of material for that out yet.
Of course, one of my favorites that I want fucking desperately to get an official translation is Destroy Humanity, It Can't Be Regenerated.
There we go.
The life of a witch who remains a single for 300 years. Duke of Death and His Black Maid. I'm just going to skip to the end, which is Zombie 100, which is, I think, by far my favorite one that I want an official translation for.
All right, there you go. Publishers of the world who don't listen to us.
Yes.
Because nobody does. If you are in control of publishing and want to make two weebs happy, there you go. Go ahead and publish any one of those. For some of these, it would
just be one weeb.
It would just be one weeb. But yeah, go ahead and translate all of those, some of those, one of those, and Brandon would be willing to blow you, probably.
Oh, please. If it's going to be anything, make it be Zombie 100 first.
There you go. Free blowjobs for the rest of your life if you translate Zombie 100.
Oh my god, such a good manga. And so ends another episode. We're also back. Not that anyone cares.
Yeah, we'll probably continue next week with the new season.
Yep, and at some point we will talk about Babylon once that's done, which is next season or next week actually. There's a lot of next going on,
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'll just continue to put it off. We'll actually talk about Babylon in 4 years. They took a break. We deserve a break.
Right. Well, that's how it goes. Peace out.
See you later, nerds.